Hey everybody, welcome back to The Reading Glass. I'm Dylan.
I'm Becca.
And here we are at episode 2. How you feeling?
I feel like we're more prepared for this one.
I feel a little mentally more stable this time.
We are way more prepared. I think we'll have a better structure.
I'm hoping, despite the unhinged book you picked for us.
I think it's great. I started this book first. And then I got you to read it because I was like, you have to.
I mean, it's only fair because I did pick our last book. So
yeah, and we're switching.
Exactly.
Dylan, what is the book that we are talking about today?
We decided to do the Crimson Moth Duology by, and I'm sorry if I butcher this, Kristen Ciccarelli.
Your guess is as good as mine.
But we love the book.
Love the book. The Duology series, love them.
So freaking good.
So good. We only have this one because
we were bad readers. We used our Kindles.
There's nothing wrong with Kindle, okay?
Don't you feel a little guilty, though?
But there's still nothing wrong with Kindle.
No. I love my e-readers and my audio readers, but I am naturally a book lover. I love holding the book, so I was kind of sad not having Rebel Witch. I'm not going to lie.
Well, Rebel Witch also did just come out recently.
It did, yes. I couldn't find it in any stores, and I was at Target for the 15th time last week. So I tried.
It literally just came out. So I'm glad that we read the series when the second book came out, because I would have been like devastated if I had to wait the whole year or however long other people waited for the second book.
It was a year wait. I checked. It was like a year wait between these books, which is, normal.
Right.
But at the same time, like, that is still cruel, especially with this book, especially with Heartless Hunter. But my friend Becca here picked out the perfect wine to go with it.
Well, technically you picked it for the last book, but I said, no, we have to wait for this series to read it.
But Vengeance was really good for Two Twisted Crowns and One Dark Window.
I 100% agree with that. But I would say we have Witching Hour.
Tell me about it, Becca.
Let's see. I think I liked the description on the back of this. Do you remember? It says, one can guess, but few know the truth. Some say it is the hour when darkness is most wicked. Devil does his deeds, and black magic bespokes your reason. The potion of Witching Hour will beckon you to indulge.
Yep. Let's crack that open.
It is. Are you ready?
Do I want to know?
It is 13.5% alcohol.
Fuck. I was a little tipsy last time, folks. Becca has some really steep stairs in her house, and I was pretty sure I was about to go down them. Becca, this is actually like my first book about witches. Like, I don't read a lot of witches at the core, so this was a completely different thing.
It was my first time reading witches.
Really?
I told you that in the last episode.
I'm blonde. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, you're also a little drunk, so you probably don't remember. But
excuse me.
I told you that's an actual witch book.
Girl, I don't read witches.
Neither
we
do
talked
I.
about on the last episode, I primarily do fae, vampires, same thing with you.
It was a good witch book, though.
Surprisingly, yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for the wine this time, you guys. I recently just got into wines, and reds are like my absolute favorite. And, throughout this podcast, I'm sure we're going to go ahead and we are going to spice it up and do some whites, maybe even some good rosés, depending on the spiciness of the book. Ooh, look at that color.
Okay, well, cheers.
Cheers. Let's smell it, see what we're dealing with.
It almost smells similar to the other one.
It's very similar to Vengeance.
But they're both California red blends, so that's probably why.
Valid. And I think this one has blackberry in it, where the last one was mostly cherry and spices.
Okay. Well,
here we cheers.
Yep.
This one's smoother.
Dangerous. Happy 13.5%.
Dangerous like, I don't know, a witch hunter going after a witch.
Hey, wink, wink, wink. So we should probably talk a little about the book before we dive into it.
I agree. So this is going to be our non-spoilery section. That way, in case you guys do want to read this book, go ahead, listen to us right now, and then cut it. We'll tell you when we're going spoilery, and then you can come back and watch it once you've read these incredible books. So this book is obviously about witches.
And it's very enemies to lovers. Would you agree?
Oh, 100% on that. I think this is one of the most enemies to lovers that I've read that is actually
an actual true enemy to lovers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what drew me to this book so much, because you get to read both sides of the enemy. You just get to be both in their heads,
What I also appreciated was we didn't have to read the same scenes really over and over again. One from Rune, one from Gideon.
It just kept rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Like the storyline just kept rolling continuously. And I think that it just brought the book more together.
Oh, 100%. And it is a YA novel, you guys. So anyone can read this.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
Spice level, 1.
I'll give it a 1.5. 2.5 because
1.
I'm gonna be blunt with you. When I was a teenager and I was reading YA, I was not reading about people inserting their fingers into other people's orifices.
Okay. But compared to the duology I just read, that was a 5.
We'll get there.
So compared to that, I'm like, man, this is a 1.
So everything is not what it seems in this book, I would definitely say.
I would say it had little Bridgerton-esque in it.
Definitely, but it also had some modern like things in this book that I'm used to not reading.
Yeah, it was
like showers.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds.
Yeah, because normally it's baths.
Yes, it's always baths, privies, and it seems like they had their own personal, bathrooms with their toilets.
Yeah.
Very, very modern.
It was modern, but not, and I liked it.
They also did horse-drawn carriages as well.
Yeah, so it's kind of modern, but not modern.
It was a really surprisingly good blend.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated because like I said last time, I'm a sucker for like balls and romance because I feel like she thinks she's so funny, you guys. I hate you, Becca. I am a sucker for balls where you dance at, ma'am. Where you can
So Bridgerton again.
Yeah, definitely Bridgerton. If there had been a masked ball in this, I would have melted.
There was a mask ball, though.
No, so there was a masked ball in the first one. He didn't wear a mask. It was when he was trying to uncover her as a witch. He came running.
Okay, we're getting too far into it. Honestly, it was also a book about higher class and lower class, of division, of true, mentality of the higher class isn't like me because I'm a lower class and I'll never fit in because I'm a low class.
Same thing with the love. Like, how could she ever love me if I'm just this lower class person who grew up poor?
Yeah.
And, I felt that the author did a very good job of making that very clear, and it was very explanatory.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
One thing that I also really appreciated about this book was there was, in the first one, a sense of kind of found family.
Yes, but with a twist.
With that twist, yeah.
With a freaking twist.
And
that you do not see coming at the same time.
As weird as it sounds, I also think there was sort of like a friends to lovers type thing going on very, very briefly. There was a hint of it.
But I feel as though it was like her last...
A whisper, if you will, a question.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a question, but it could have been like her settling. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Alex was kind of fucking incredible. I love me some Alex.
Anything else? I think that's a good summary.
That's a good summary of it. Enemies to lovers, true hatred.
It's a good read. It's an easy read.
Solid read. So, Becca, you read this in like a day, right?
I read it in like a day and a half, honestly.
Yeah.
And you read it in what, a day?
I did it a day, and I was cruel, and I sent you the screenshot of my Goodreads, but I purposely blacked out the star rating.
I went onto your Goodreads and saw that you had a 5.
So you cheated. Now I'm very hurt, and I have to deal with the pain by drinking.
Oh, I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. Like the pain you've caused me by reading this book.
I knew it was going to be a very easy read because of how I read it. And if the plot and the story just flows so well, you just want to keep reading. And I feel like you read faster.
With Heartless Hunter, yes. The Rebel Witch, I'm not going to lie to you, it took a couple chapters for me to kind of settle into it.
I could understand that. I feel like it was a little less smooth, for sure.
It was, to me, very jumpy. It made it very clear that there was, spoiler, a time jump between book 1 and book 2, which I am all for a time jump. I don't always expect the stories to pick up.
It wasn't a really big time jump, though.
But it was enough for me to kind of have to, get my feet wet, even though I had just finished Heartless Hunter earlier that day.
Okay. I didn't see that for me, but okay. I
But
get
also,
what you're saying.
I have a very, very unique opinion that I'm very curious to see if you're going to like.
Okay.
Or agree with.
Okay. I think that's our summary.
I agree.
So, if you have not read the book and you do want to read the book, the duology series,
Time to leave.
time to leave.
We'll see you when you finish in a couple days because you're going to breeze through this book.
You breeze through it in 4 days.
That's 4 days of my life. It gave me life.
So, we're going to dive into it now. So, Dylan, I'm going to let you start. I need the thoughts. I need the feelings.
It gave me flashbacks to when I was a teenager again.
How so?
It felt like the books I read when I was a teenager, like the YA that I read when I was a teenager. It gave me almost like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like Twilight vibes?
Not Twilight vibes, but like nostalgia.
Okay.
The nostalgia for what was coming out when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
And especially because the romance was written, it was so good.
Yeah.
At least with Heartless Hunter. I'll get to Rebel Witch in a little bit. But with Heartless Hunter, it was everything. It was fire, and it was will they, won't they, and it was just this.
It just kept you on your toes the entire time.
And I didn't get annoyed.
Yeah.
Like, the banter was good.
Yeah.
I didn't want to shake them for, like, just kiss already. You know what I mean?
Right. Because you were seeing both views and getting both perspectives, you know? And from Gideon and from Rune, did you understand of, like, how Gideon was kind of wrong for going after the Crimson Moth?
Oh, 100%. Are you kidding me?
Now that we're talking about it. So, obviously, Rune is the Crimson Moth. She's the witch in this series. How did you feel about using her fucking period blood? Her period
As a gay
blood.
man, that's a no-no square for me. But for a book reader,
If you haven't
that was really good.
If you have not read the book, in order to use the magic in this realm as a witch, you have to use fresh blood. And they have 4 tiers of different
Spells.
So we have Mirage. We also have Menorah,
Yes.
Majora, and Arcania.
Arcania is my favorite.
Because you have to kill someone?
I plead the 5th.
Every single tier you have to do more blood. Like, more is a sacrifice. It reminded me of One Dark Window, where, like,
Really?
because with magic comes a price.
I love that. And
Yeah.
I do agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And also, with the last 2 levels of spells, the blood actually has to be drawn from someone else.
But the second to the top, it can be either taken or
given
given
freely.
from permission from the person.
Correct.
But the first and most evil one, you have to actually kill someone and take all their blood. So tell me, did you really think Verity was Cressida?
I'm not going to lie.
Cressida.
So I love this book, you guys, but for me, it was really predictable. That was so
yeah.
predictable. Like, she would try and foreshadow, at least to me, and I would pick up on it in like a second. Unlike One Dark Window or even Iron Flame.
I think even with One Dark Window, it was kind of predictable though too.
For me, it wasn't. Like, there were certain things that were predictable about One Dark Window, but this one, like, it felt like it was right in my face. At first, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was Verity or Alex. I was kind of like, okay. Like,
One of them is it?
One of them is not who they say they are.
are.
And I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of lean towards Alex because he's this goody-goody. He's this sweetheart, and he was a little too sweet. I don't trust men. He was way too sweet for me.
He was a gentleman.
He was sweet.
He was
and
a gentleman.
also, like, I kind of liked how he loved Rune. I thought it was a beautiful thing.
Almost hard to put yourself into that mindset. Like, can I see this person as like my lover, as my significant other and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've read Friends to Lovers, and I will always choose my enemies to lovers because there's something just spicy about it.
Yeah.
Especially with this one because it was true enemies to lovers.
lovers.
Oh my God.
I loved that you got everything with Rune's mind and you got everything from Gideon's mind, and it just kept going back and forth. And like Harrow, yeah, that face. Harrow talking about like giving Gideon the little whispers in his ear of like, you need to seduce her in order
you need to
see.
sleep with her.
Yeah. Because the only reason also, if you have not read the book, of if he was trying to get her naked no matter what, because the way
scars.
because of scars. As soon as you cut yourself as a witch, leaves what, a silver
It leaves a silver scar because
silver
you use the blood
raised-
to do the magic.
yeah, so a silver raised scar. And in this, the witches, they basically cut themselves, but it's also in like a tattoo mode. Like,
that's really cool.
I liked that concept a lot.
Mild spoiler, since she's a Crimson Moth, eventually when she does start cutting herself in the second book, they are in the shape of moths, which it sounds utterly gorgeous. I wish that like they had almost given us like artwork for it.
Yeah.
I think that would have been so cool.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a great special edition. I'm just saying, if you're watching, Kristen, just saying, I'd buy it.
But and also with Rune, with her being the Crimson Moth, the reason why she was called the Crimson Moth was because when she did magic, she left a moth that was crimson colored.
That was her signature.
That was her signature, basically, saying that she did magic, because everyone had different scent, or
They all had different scents, and they all had different signatures. Like Cressida's
was
a rose, and her smell was blood.
the smell was rosy.
Rosy blood.
Yeah. I forgot what exactly it was like an actual symbol
That she
leaves. I hated Cressida.
Understatement of the century.
I hated her. I did not want Rune to be her sister, her long lost sister.
That was so freaking, I'm going to be blunt with you also. I knew that was coming. Like, I'm gonna be straight with you. That was 100% in my face. I was like, oh, she's a long-lost Roseblood sister. I am so shocked.
Yeah.
Wow.
I definitely figured out Verity. I had hunches about Rune, but I didn't have hunches of Rune at the same time.
Valid, okay.
I feel like it took too long for Rune to figure out for herself that she was her blood-related sister.
I agree. But, and this is where my controversial opinion is going to come in, I think Rebel Witch should have been split into 2 books. Now listen to me when I say this, okay?
Okay.
Breathe.
Breathing. I'm going to take another drink for that.
I feel that there was so many plot points going on in Rebel Witch that sometimes the book became too much. Okay, I'm not going to use the word too much. I'm going to use the word excessive.
Okay.
Because it felt like we were jumping from one plot point to another, and it wasn't as smooth as Heartless Hunter was.
Yeah, I felt a little rushed.
I feel that it had enough material to go into a 3rd book. Like, maybe they could have ended the 2nd book with her finding out, well, Gideon finding out, because the scene, Rune doesn't find out right away. Gideon is the first one to find out via a summoning spell that Rune is the long-lost Roseblood heir.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks that they should have ended the 2nd book, you know, Rebel Witch, right there, and then we could have continued on in a 3rd book because there were things I would have liked to see more of, like the rebellion. Like, it would have been like the 2 characters that they meet once they finally reconnect when Rune is sneaking around in her Wintersea house.
Yeah.
I feel that there was so much more, or even the acolytes and the warriors, and even more with even wisdom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which also I caught on to something different about wisdom. I knew it was Seraphina in like 2 seconds flat. The second, like, she was introduced in Heartless Hunter, and she was described as having this ageless face. I'm like, something's funny about you. You're not a normal witch.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I picked up on that in 2 seconds flat.
I think everyone did, but...
But diverting back to what I was originally saying, I feel that she could have expanded the plot, and it would have been nice to have a book with Gideon and Rune not at each other's throats.
Yeah, like having them actually have a happy ending.
And having couple scenes that weren't, you know,
Enemies.
at the very end of the book.
Yeah, because it still ended at the end of the book for them to like kind of have a happy ending, and they're finally together after being enemies and hunting, like hunted scenario, you know, but I can see where you're going with that.
And I guess it was me being selfish too, because like I would have loved another book. Like,
right.
I think the world building in this is so unique, guys. It's so well thought out.
Yeah.
And I read her acknowledgement page, and one of the things she said was she just decided to go ahead and write this and say, fuck it. And I appreciated it. I think this was a really good fuck it. It was so well thought out. It was so beautifully written. It had meaning. It dealt with prejudice. It was more than just a supernatural YA fantasy. It dealt with important things that in the world
society.
we're dealing with right now, almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I feel there should be more to it.
Sure.
I don't know exactly if she just signed a deal for, 2 books.
Who knows?
But it would have been such a good trilogy. And I'd because at the end of Rebel Witch, it definitely felt so open-ended. Like, we got a taste of certain things, but then there's more that could possibly be, explored in this world.
Sure.
But I just have to hope she writes another book, I guess. I mean, obviously it won't be about Rune and Gideon because, spoiler, they do get their happy ending.
They do.
Which they deserve.
I loved that Layla finally twisted her head.
Someone needed to twist it before I slapped it off of her fucking shoulders, Becca.
Well, she almost caught Rune with Gideon in the, what was it? It was a prison that also went underwater.
Yep.
And then she basically turned both of them in, if I remember correctly.
Such a good friend.
In Rebel Witch, but at the end of Rebel Witch, she turns around and she's like on their side.
After she almost shoots Rune.
Yeah.
If you ever turn me into witch hunters, I'd be very mad at you. I hope you know that.
Ditto.
I feel satisfied, but I'm not. Like, I want more.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna lie, the villain in this was incredibly hateable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I actually hated this bitch.
I hated her so much.
But you want to know something funny?
What?
You want to know who I pictured the entire time as Cressida?
Oh, God. Who?
Anne Hathaway in the Tim Burton movie, The Alice in Wonderland, as the White Queen. I just couldn't shake it. And it was annoying the shit out of me the entire time. So now I can't watch Alice in Wonderland because of this book.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
Ditto.
No way, you too? Really? You thought about her too?
I did.
Oh, God. It's just a description with the platinum hair and the rose red lips and just...
I saw the whole thing too. I saw her as like a snotty ass fucking bitch. all at the same time.
So what was funny at the end of like Heartless Hunter, I'm going to be blunt, I didn't know if she was going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, I could see that.
I was kind of like, not going to lie, I thought maybe Serafina was going to step into that role for a hot second, but
I guess. I don't know. I knew either way Cressida was going to try her best to get whatever the fuck she wanted.
You mean my husband Gideon?
Did you cry when Alex died?
I saw it coming, so I had a feeling. I'm like, there's no way Rune and Gideon are going to be able to be together if Alex is alive. I'm going to be straight with you because Rune loves him too much to break off that engagement.
Right.
And then Alex is too selfish of a person because he was selfish, and I appreciated that. A good selfish character who grows balls? Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, it took him a little bit to grow balls
But once he did, he was like, oh, like I could see you grabbing my throat and slamming me against a wall in the future after taking me on very, very expensive dates.
Extremely expensive dates.
And even then, he'd be like, am I hurting you? I love Cressida in a weird way, too, as a villain.
Ew.
As a villain.
Okay.
Like, she actually was just a grade A bitch. A psycho bitch.
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciated the resurrection plot, even though it was very, very, very predictable. I did not predict where their bodies were being hidden, though. Essentially, Cressida wants to resurrect her two twin sisters to help her rule the Republic and get her revenge against the witch hunters.
Because Alex never killed her. How dare he?
He is a sweet little buttercup boy.
How dare he? If he killed her, none of that would have happened. But then again, you wouldn't have a book, so there you go. You can have Alex.
No, I'll take Gideon. No, I don't even want Gideon. I wasn't like wanting anyone in this book. Like Alex gave me a little butterflies because I do have, you know,
A soft spot.
But then he got a bullet to his fucking chest and I had to read about him dying and that kind of killed any boner I had for him. Just a heads up, she tolerates me. Alex is a sweet little child and we protect him.
Like Rune was trying to do the entire time.
He would have survived if she didn't try and protect him.
She kept trying to protect him and he kept trying to protect her.
Maybe if she would have
It went back and forth many times.
I know, I wanted to strangle them a little bit. I normally kind of thought I was going to want to strangle Gideon and Rune during the entirety of Rebel Witch, but I didn't. Okay, I'm not going to lie. During Rebel Witch, I did want to strangle them. I wanted to strangle them sometimes a lot because I was like going back and forth.
I wanted to strangle them on the boat.
Yes.
On the boat with Abby and...
Don't talk to me about that snake.
Abby and who? William?
William, yeah.
Yeah, so Abby and William. I wanted to strangle both of them. Abby was trying to get in there with Gideon.
She did get in there with Gideon for a hot second.
But that was his past, but she kept trying to with Rune there. But then she didn't know really 100% about Rune.
Such a classy, demure lad. I don't like her.
How did you feel about Cressida's spell on Gideon?
That made me cry. That made me sick,
He
actually.
couldn't actually let. She wanted Gideon to herself for no one else to touch him who loved him. That was the main thing. Because she knew that Rune and Gideon loved each other, but she couldn't prove it. And the only way she could prove it was putting that spell on his chest.
After she branded him.
Yeah.
So a few things don't make my stomach twist, you guys. Branding, that's a, what's it called? What are the kids saying nowadays? A red flag. So one thing I do want to say, especially when it comes to Gideon, and this is something I appreciate, is he didn't hate witches just because they were witches. He actually had a situation happen that caused him to hate them. I appreciated that he actually had a legitimate reason instead of just blind hatred, like, oh, I don't like her because she can do spells. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can understand that. It's not like, oh, I hate them because they're a different breed. They're a different person. I don't hate them because of their color. I don't hate them because of
There's legit
whatever.
reasons.
Yeah, he had legit reason.
You know, he did have some prejudices, but he did let them in. I'm not going to lie.
But it was mainly because of their class. Because
agree,
he
yeah.
was lower class and she was higher class. But the only reason she was higher class was because she was born into high class. But, you know, she didn't get to be with those high class people because of what happened. But she was with her grandmother, who wasn't her grandmother.
That was her grandma.
Yeah. In
Kestrel,
heart, yes. In heart, I understand 100% yes. But, you know,
I'm tearing up thinking about Kestrel. I'm not going to lie. It's either that or the wine, you guys.
It's both.
Yeah.
She was still high class, though.
Very much so.
Yeah.
She got very lucky. She could have easily been picked up by someone in the slums.
And Rune inherited everything from her grandmother, who wasn't her grandmother, but she still inherited everything. So she lived in that high class mindset. She didn't know any better for the lower class of what they may have to live through or what they go through until she actually was getting into Gideon, you know?
I would get into Gideon. I'm not going to lie. If I were Rune, I'm not saying Gideon is my type. type. I'm just saying. It was very easy for her to love him.
Yes.
Because
I think
he
it was
the
easy.
sweetest boy.
I think it was easy for both of them to love each other.
If someone hand-stitched me a rose.
Hand stitched a rose, and he made
A dress.
Dresses.
Boy was multi-talented.
He made dresses when he didn't even want to remember how to make them due to his parents dying. You remember that?
Do you want me to cry on camera? Because we're getting very close to it.
No, I don't.
That is so sweet. Like,
It was very sweet. I knew as soon as he was making those things and doing those things, he was loving her.
hands down. It was a ruse, and he played it very well.
Very well. Even with Harrow, like, in his ear saying, you need to seduce her, you need to do this, you need to do that in order to make sure if she is a witch or not.
Don't ever talk about that disgusting character. Who I did like, especially when we got her story about how she had her ear cut off and thrown in a dark cellar. But, like, I'm sorry, but you don't go from, I hate this witch, to, I would die for this witch. It was such a quick transition. It was like a snap, and it drove me insane.
Yeah. And it was all because of that. What was that one witch's name? I don't even remember.
I don't even remember, because I hated her. I'm sorry. I hated her.
She was a witch who didn't even know.
Juniper. Her name was Juniper.
There you go.
Juniper, yeah.
Yeah, so Juniper didn't even know that she was in the dungeon, though. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
She didn't even know that she was in the dungeon, and she was trying to find her the entire time. But Harrow became Harrow because of thinking oppositely, that Juniper was never trying to go to them.
But for Harrow being this tough witch hunter, I don't give a shit, she bowed fucking quick. The second Cressida had Juniper, they're over there.
Yeah.
Go, scoot, scoot, scoot. And, you know, the weird thing is, I know, because we've seen it in the book, Gideon would never, ever give up whatever location for Rune. Even though they love each other, they understood that the mission was 10 times more important.
Yeah, they knew Cressida was bad. They knew that what she could do.
To the point where Rune was willing to die to stop Cressida.
And she almost did.
She technically did.
Yeah, technically, yeah, you're right.
Find me in another life, my love.
Yep. Did you cry during that?
I got really sad because I really was like, okay, if this is how this book ends, I'm not going to be okay.
I really thought that was how the book was going to end.
You too?
Yeah.
I was really
like,
devastated.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, she's just going to die and that's it. And that's it. You don't get
throw
more.
This damn Kindle. I literally was shocked, Becca.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, cool. No, they're not going to kill her. No, they're not going to pull the trigger. And he fucking pulled the trigger.
But
and it's what she wanted, and I would want
it. Was
too.
what she wanted, and she lifted Cressida's spell.
Yeah, I know, but I had to suffer through that, and I'm what matters here, okay?
I'm so sorry. Okay.
You tortured me.
Did you like the book series?
I loved it. I want to read it again.
We win!
But it's just, the ending was satisfying, but it wasn't. Like I said earlier, I wanted more.
I get it.
I felt that it was such a strong ending, but it wasn't. I was satisfied with Gideon and Rune. Let them get their happily ever after. But let me state something. If the next book, if she magically sees our podcast and is like, I'm gonna write another book, bitch, do not write it about Harrow and Juniper. I will throw it after I read it.
I don't know if I would read it.
I would read it. I'm not going to lie. And one thing I will admit, and this is good for you guys to know, it does have a lot of LGBTQ plus inclusion, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, it was subtle.
But it was there, and that's what matters.
Yeah, it was subtle. You know, it was there. And
caught me off guard.
I liked it, honestly.
It was there.
It flowed very nicely.
It wasn't forced, which I'm not saying all LGBTQ plus is forced, because usually it isn't.
But sometimes it is.
Sometimes it can be.
I think a lot in different romantices, it's kind of forced.
Sometimes. Unless it's a central plot point, it is.
Yeah, or unless it's like really well written into it.
I'm trying to think of, because there's not a lot of LGBTQ in Fourth Wing. Wait, there is, and it feels right in Fourth Ring.
Riddick.
Hi, Daddy. Call me. Riddick is sexy, and if you shit on my boy Riddick, we will.
Okay, this is not Fourth Wing.
I appreciated that it was included.
We have a 100% separate Fourth Wing.
You're not ready for the Fourth Wing episode, you guys. That's going to be at least a 3-hour-long episode.
That's an episode per book.
Yeah, we can't just do we can't do all three of them.
No, that is an episode per book, because Rebecca Yaros just likes to fuck with us.
We're coming for you, Rebecca.
We're getting off topic. topic. Let's get back to it. I think that covers it, honestly. We
Yeah.
covered it pretty fucking well.
I was going to say that was really smooth. We just knew everything we wanted to talk about.
It was also like I recently just read it, so it was more fresh in my mind, and you recently just read it. And I think the next books that we talk about, we're reading together officially.
Yep, it's the first time.
So, I mean, we've read books
Together,
many times, but this is going to be the first for the podcast that we'll be reading them simultaneously together.
And you know we're going to end up still sending each other messages. We can't control it.
No, you got to control it, Dylan.
I can't control it.
You controlled it with this one. I was actually really, really proud of you.
Because I read it in a day.
I'm still proud of you.
I still can't believe I read this an entire freaking day.
I had a feeling you would, though. I really did.
I'm still surprised I did, but it is pretty short. It's only, so the first book, you guys, is about a little over 300 pages, I want to say.
Gonna look. It is 404.
404. So it's not,
Barely over 400.
it's not that big, and the print is pretty big, at least on the hardcover copies that we have.
I'm pretty sure the second book is about the same.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple more pages, but I think it's about 420.
I love this. I love this book. I loved everything about it. I loved the unique magic system. I loved the characters. I love that I cried when they died. It's so rare to find a YA book, at least nowadays, in my personal opinion, where you find a book that's, you know...
I found it for you. You're welcome.
Yeah, I know. I owe you. It's fine. I gave you One Dark Window.
And you kept having friends too, though, you said, that had mixed opinions on it.
Yeah, and I completely disagree with them. 100%. Like,
They
I
said
had
it was trash, and they said it wasn't good.
and that really bothered me. That's what made me hesitant to really read this. Because I had Heartless Hunter. I've had Heartless Hunter on my TBR for months. I've had it sitting there staring at me, but the second Rebel Witch came out, I had someone I know message me and was like, oh my god, it's so crappy. I want to slap the characters. The confessions of love are disgusting. It's so simple. It's a waste of time. And I was like, oh, okay, great. I guess that you're saving me trouble. Then I don't need to read it.
I didn't think it was that simple.
No, I think it was appropriate for how the two characters are together.
Yeah.
So I really loved it. I honestly, on Goodreads, I gave it 4 stars, but on Fable, I gave it 4.5. So I really loved it. And I would definitely read it again because I think it definitely has, you know, reread value. I think we'll pick up on stuff that we didn't necessarily pick up on before.
Honestly.
Except, honestly, for Twilight. Twilight's the same every time you get it. It's an apple pie. Little cinnamon.
It is an apple pie. You're not wrong.
I do appreciate some apple pie every now and then.
Yeah.
Well, I think this kind of covers it.
Good. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for tuning into this episode.
Episode 2 done and wrapped.
Episode 2, Hunter Rebel Witch.
Hunter Rebel Witch, you guys.
What's our next one, Dylan?
We are going to be still continuing on with the YA section. We are going to be doing the Caraval trilogy.
I am pretty excited. You have read it, but...
I have read it. I'm very excited to go back into it.
Okay, I have not read it, so...
You're going to love it.
I'll have thoughts. He knows I have thoughts.
Oh, she always has thoughts. But the real question is she going to find the perfect wine?
You better be ready. I don't know
Oh,
if it'll be a
God.
13.5, but...
No more 13.5s, period.
You picked 2 13.5s.
Are you
back
calling
to
me an
back.
alcoholic, Becca?
A smidgen.
This is the ex-bartender. Alrighty, you guys. We really hope you like this episode. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. We do post every week. Right now, we do have an Instagram and
YouTube.
YouTube. We do have a YouTube.
We are posted on Spotify, Apple, wherever you can find us.
We're-
Instagram is probably our more funny side.
We will be having a Behind the Sips episode coming out shortly for episode 2, and you guys are going to love it.
We have all kinds of fun things on Instagram than we do anywhere else, simply because it's Instagram.
Instagram's the best.
Yeah.
Alrighty, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
We will see you next time.
Cheers.